Hello again and welcome. Michael Pizzolla here. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of the ValueCapping Rant. In this rant, I am going to review with you the value capping approach to the 2017 Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland and the 2017 Wood Memorial at Aqueduct. Now, these races will be run on Saturday, April 8th, 2017. I am speaking to you on Thursday, April 6th, 2017. So I don't have scratches and weather conditions, and I don't even have the past performances yet, the full, complete past performances yet for the Santa Anita Derby. But in order to get this video out to you, I wanted to at least review these two important Derby preps. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Pizzolla. I'm author of the best-selling book, Handicapping Magic, and co-author of the book, Pace Makes the Race. I am the creator of the original online racing forum. I am the publisher of the Post Time Daily 2.0. I am also the creator of Black Magic Ultimate Handicapper, and I'm sure if you're into horse racing and hearing about handicapping tournaments and so forth, you've heard a lot of buzz about this software recently. I am the creator of the coming soon, Value Capper, which is Black Magic Handicapper 2.0, and something I'm very proud of, the comprehensive training course, the master training course in value capping. So all of that coming soon. And what I want to share with you is something I have been sharing in now 3 decades of helping, coaching, and training handicappers and moving a handicapper from someone who might be a fan of the game or someone who treats it as a recreational pastime into making really good pro-level value investments. Value investments is a fancy word for a good value bet. Okay? As an investment, as you know, horse racing is extremely risky. However, we can find good value propositions that, if applied with patience and discipline, has the potential to keep us ahead of the crowd. Now, what is this value capping? A brief review. Here's the framework. In value capping, rather than just being about picking winners, it's to find horses that you like. We bet horses that you like. That seems obvious, right? But they should be horses that the public should not like. And we want to find those horses preferably running against vulnerable favorites. Favorites which have something I call anti-value, like a really hard race last time after a layoff, and so forth. Very importantly, we need to wait for our price on that horse. No good if we, think we found this spot and the horse goes off at 2-1, probably not worth a bet. And then through practice, through looking at lots of races, a felt sense will be developed so it feels like you recognize the bet and it's almost as if the bet makes you. This is a very, very brief outline of what the value capping framework is. I will soon be releasing a free course in value capping, the value capping basic training. And this is a video course. It's really goes into great detail about the value capping framework, the difference between value capping and handicapping. I'm going to reveal for the first time outside of my very core group of value cappers, the 5x5 framework. It's going to be a great course. It's free. I will be announcing them in the emails that you get in the rants. If you haven't, please sign up for the Value Capping Rants at www.posttimedaily.com. So with all of that said, let me first say a word about the purpose of these value capping rant videos. Look, they're not about picking horses. I could care less about the outcome of any one specific race, which, if the truth be told, none of us can say for certain, least of all me. Because, although I'm an expert and I can say, yes, this horse is better than this horse and so forth, we cannot know for certain the outcome of any specific race. But what I can do is to show you the technique of finding value potential in a race. And that potential is highlighted because we don't know. So many random and unexpected things can happen in a horse race. You know the saying, that's why they call it horse racing. That all we have control over is finding a horse we like that the public shouldn't and get our price on it. And see what happens. So I'm less interested in the outcome of any specific race, especially, hey, pick this race now because it's a Derby prep. Well, heck, I don't know if there will be a good value investment potential in the race or not. And if there isn't, I'm going to tell you that. Okay? So I'm less interested in the outcome of any race than in demonstrating to you how to apply the value capping approach. And you can apply this to whatever handicapping techniques you use. I'm agnostic about that. If you're a trainer and jockey handicapper, that's fine. You still have to be betting horses you like that the public shouldn't. And you still have to get your price. Now, I'm a pace handicapper. That's how I cut my teeth. I was the pioneer of incremental pace velocity when hardly anyone had heard of this. And the Black Magic handicapper program, which I'm going to use in this analysis, is just my tool to make it all very easy for me. Now, Value Capper takes that to just another level to make it much more easy. But since it's not released, I'm going to show you how Black Magic handles these races. Before I dive into the races, a little advice from Ted Williams. Now, I've got to tell you that as a native New Yorker, it pains me to be showing a picture of a renowned Boston Red Sox player. Anyway, one of the greatest hitters, obviously, in the history of baseball. And his core philosophy, which he said he got from Rogers Hornsby, was to get a good pitch to hit. Sounds simple, but how often do we forget this in our betting at the racetrack? He also said that the pitches you let go are as important as the ones at which you swing. And I don't think anything is more important for a horse player than to let the iffy bets go, the bets where you don't feel so good about, or you're not getting your price, or you have questions. Those are important to pass. And getting your price is so important. I think it was Ted Williams who said, I'd rather hit a home run 1 out of 4 times than hit a single 1 out of 3 times. And in value capping, we look for price horses. Now, all of them aren't going to be $50 and $60 horses, of course, but getting good overlays, good potential to hit a nice price horse makes up for a lot of losers and then provides some profits. They're the home runs, if you will. So with that, let's get down to cases and let's take a look at the 2017 Bluegrass and the 2017 Wood Memorial. Here's how Black Magic looks at the Bluegrass Stakes. There are 7 horses in the race. 5 of them are above the red line, which is random. Okay? And not surprisingly, McCracken and Tapwrit are at the top of the line. They are, after all, the 7-5 and 5-2 morning line favorites. Okay. The other thing, first thing I notice is that from a very complicated set of algorithms, which are combined to be, and we call it acupressure, V2 to see what kind of scenario may come about in the race, pace scenario, if you will, although it also uses some position. This race comes up as highly pressured. Now, it's 1 1/8 on the turf, on the dirt at Keeneland. And it's highly pressured means that we could look for a few horses to be in a gaggle going fast early in a race. Now, if we look at the track profiles from Keeneland, we see that the 1 1/8 generally runs towards the late side. And blowing this up a little bit, we see that the last two Bluegrass Stakes, the one run in 2015 and the one run in 2016, ran extremely late. So our projection for the race, if you will, being highly pressured and favoring a late horse, also agrees with the track profile. So far, so good. Here's the not so good news. Look at the way McCracken runs. This is our top of the Black Magic line. It's a heavy 7-5 morning line favorite. The last two races, it was at the same spot in the race, 6 by 3.5 lengths, and one going away, both of those. The two races before that, this colt sat 5th, and then one going away. This is a perfect running style for a highly pressured race at a distance and track that favors late horses. If I were going to throw stones at the horse, at the colt rather, I don't know how. He's, 4 for 4. Now, it's on a layoff, but heck, the last time it was on a layoff from November 2016 to February, it won going away. So here's a horse we like. Yes, top of our line. Now, should the public like this horse? Well, of course. 4 for 4, perfect running style and all the rest. Well, let's look on. Here's the second favorite and second on the Black Magic line, Taprit, 5-2. Here's another horse that sits off the pace. Last race, it won the Tampa Bay Derby and one going away. Race before that, it won the Grade 3 Davis. Off the pace. So we've got two horses at the top of the line. The public will be betting the same horses that we found with our very sophisticated software. Well, sometimes it agrees with it. You have to find logical horses as well. If we go down third on the line, we find It's Your Nickel, which is 20-1 on the morning line. There's nothing wrong with this horse. I mean, it's won 2 out of its 4 races. It closed in the Battaglia at Turfway Park last out. And further down on the line, we have Wild Shot. Now, Wild Shot should be it's well named. This should be a very long price, as it's only won a maiden race at Churchill. And, it didn't do too badly when it ran in the Tampa Bay Derby against McCracken. Oh, take that back. Against Taprit. Okay. So, it finished 6 lengths back. One interesting thing, and I'll just show you a technique, and sometimes, when you're looking at back numbers, for example, the software looked at its potential, and it looked at the very bottom race, which in Master Pace Ratings, which is a composite pace rating, that's a very big number. You see that 167.7, okay? And that was at Ellis Park at 5.5 furlongs in a maiden before this horse broke its maiden. If you eliminate that race, this horse falls way down on the rankings. So I don't love this. This is not a horse I'd like, especially running against the 2-horse and the 4-horse, McCracken and Taprit. So here's a race. This is what sometimes people confuse value and price. Certainly, It's Your Nickel and Wild Shot, the 1 and the 5, have shots in this race. they will probably go off at long prices. Wild Shot, I would imagine, will go off I think it'll go off a little longer than It's Your Nickel. Are they worth bets? Well, this is a matter of temperament. You might say, well, I've got, It's Your Nickel and Wild Shot at 9-2 and 5-1. Certainly, if they go off at 15 or 20-1, I'll take a shot on them. That's as much a matter of temperament as it is mathematics. From my way of looking, we've got two solid favorites, McCracken and Tapwrit. Tapwrit is the fulcrum. You can tell that because it's in bold, right? They're on top of our line. We agree with the public. In my mind, this is a bad pitch at which to swing. I don't want to bet these horses. I don't want to bet against these horses. Sure, I may take a recreational bet if It's Your Nickel goes off at a huge price and Wild Shot. I may even have an exacta with those. But as a pro-level value bet, no. So I'm sorry to say, we agree with the public here. This is the way it looks. And by the way, I should mention Practical Joke, which is the third morning line favorite, which is right there. I just don't think, for my way of looking, that it's worth betting these or worth betting against them. Okay. Now, moving to the Wood Memorial. We have a similar situation. Here's a race where there are 4 horses above random. The 3, Battalion Runner, the 6, Stretches Stone, the 8, Irish War Cry, and the 7, Cloud Computing. Now, you see that green line that's under the 3? That's to indicate that that's a big gap between the 5-2, which is what the software says is the horse's chances, the horse's odds line, and the next horse down, the 6, 5-1. That's a huge gap. Now, the other thing I want to point out to you is, once again, we're basically agreeing with the public. 3 of the 3 morning line favorites are in the top 4 of the software's rankings, which leaves 1 price horse. Now, let's take a look at Battalion Runner. Can we find a flaw in it? Well, it had trouble in its first start at Belmont. I think it was steadied in that race, if I recall. Then it goes to Gulfstream, blows away at Maidenfield. Then it runs a mile 16th at Gulfstream. Another nice win. This horse has done very little wrong. Now, again, it's on a layoff, just like McCracken is in the Bluegrass. But on its last layoff from December to February, not much of a layoff, but a month and change, it won going away. I don't think that's very, very negative. If we look at one of the other favorites, Irish War Cry, again, this horse reeled off 3 wins. Maiden win, it won the Marylander, it then won the Grade 2 Holy Bull. Don't know what happened last time in the Fountain of Youth. Nice Grade 2, and it just kind of gave up the ghost at the end of the race. So maybe we can say that's got a little potential for, going backwards. Maybe the horse is, the colt, is going backwards. Cloud Computing, again, won its maiden. This is the way champions run, right? They go into the maiden race, they win for fun. Then the trainer and the owner said, hey, maybe we have a champion here. Let's put it in the Grade 3 Gotham. Now, finished second, ran a very nice race in the Gotham. Okay, you can have lots of fun saying, I think there's some interesting jockey musical chairs going on with Franco and Ortiz. Yeah, so on the 7, Franco goes off this horse, Ortiz is on. And on the 6 horse, the 1 price horse in the race, Ortiz goes off the 6 and Franco goes on. I don't know anything about that, and I can only speculate. Here's what I do know. There's 1 horse in the arc that's a price, and that Stretches Stone. Now, I've got two problems with Stretch's Stone. Number one, it just came off a layoff from December 18th to February 24th, and it had a very, very hard race. It fought tooth and nail to get second. The other issue I have is this is a New York State bred, and they very often, my beloved, very often they don't compete that well in open company. Now, again, at enough of a price, sure, I would take that shot. I just don't like horses that come off a layoff and have a really hard race. Now, again, this is a 3-year-old gelding. Once again, that may give you some pause as to say, well, can it really be, a champion? So I've got a couple of issues with the 6 Stretch's Stone. So where does that leave us in the assessment of the race? Let's go back and look at the summary grid. We have 4 horses. The horse that's going to be the favorite is Battalion Runner. Done nothing wrong. It looks, right. There's one horse in the race that looks like it might be a price, and that's Stretch's Stone. But it's not a horse that I can say wholeheartedly, I'd like. It's got a couple of flaws. Now, would I take this at 20-1? Yes, not with a full bet, but I would take this. Once again, we basically agree with the public. There's not one horse that just pops out and says, I'm going to be a really good price. I would take Stretch's Stone in a secondary bet at, let's say, somewhere over 15-1. But I think that the public has this race right. Now, if you've been watching my videos at all, you know that on these big days, I give this one piece of advice, and that's don't forget the undercards. Look at the rest of the races on the cards where there are big races. So look at the races at Keeneland, look at the races of Aqueduct, and what you're looking for is where the public is out there to have a good time and watch the champion horses, and they don't pay much attention to some of the quote-unquote lesser races. And I'll give you an example. Now, here's a race. It's a modest allowance race, non-winners of one that earned a certain amount and so forth. This is the 3rd race at Aqueduct on Saturday, April 8th. Now, once again, we have 4 horses above random, but now our top horse, and we've assessed the favorites pretty well. The 3 and the 4 are going to be the favorites in the race. They're 9-5 and 5-2 morning line. I think they'll be betting the 6 Speightstown Time. Our contention is 2-1. But there's a horse right on top. The 2 may be a diamond. 7-2 going to 20-1, 15-1 morning line. The contention is the software's assessment of what the public should do with the race based on conventional handicapping. Now, how does the Blackmagic software put this horse on top? Okay, well, it has that, what I call a value tech ratio. The odds are 7-2. The odds of it, what the software thinks the odds of it has of winning, whereas the contention is 20-1. See, that's a numerical translation of bet horses you like that the public shouldn't. It's got an advanced form pattern. See that T3? That means type 3. I'm not going to get into what the patterns are, what the rules are, but it's kind of complicated. But basically, it's a horse that might be coming to a race based on how it ran last time. And then right below it, we have 3 of the 4 morning line favorites. So it may behoove us to look and see how this horse looks. Well, this horse has had 9 races. It won its maiden special race at Aqueduct Inner back in January 2016. And then it's been just kind of running 3rds and 4ths and 6th, and it came off a layoff last time and ran for a couple of calls and then kind of backed up a little bit. So it's a horse we like on numbers. The public should not like this horse. They'll look at it and they'll say, well, it's an allowance race. It's had several tries at this level. It hasn't really done all that much. And then in its last race, it fell back and it's going to 6.5 today, and it's not done well at 6.5. Well, that's true. And it may be coming to a race. That race, just like the second race back, they were both on off tracks. So, now, is this a world beater? No. However, what is it running against? Here's the morning line favorite, Wild About Deb. Now, Wild About Deb has been running all routes. Okay? It's off since November. It ran in a grade 3 at Aqueduct, the Discovery, finished 8 by 10 1/4 lengths. I've got to hand it to it. It ran in the Pennsylvania Derby. It ran in the Ohio Derby. Obviously, this is a colt that they think well of. However, it's not showing, great form. It's on a layoff. It's been running in routes. This horse might be able to win for fun, but it's not like one of those other horses we looked at that won every race that it ran. Speightstown Time is showing only turf races, and it had a really hard race last time. So you see, we're finding potential flaws in the horses that the public should like. If we look at the other morning line favorite, Divine Interventio, well, I don't think there's much wrong with this horse. Horse looks like it comes off the pace a little bit. This race sets up a bit for an early horse, which is kind of difficult at 6.5 furlongs, but still, I don't think there's much wrong with this 4-horse. The 4-horse also happens to be the Fulcrum. So here I have a situation where there's a horse I like that the public shouldn't. I should be able to get a price on this. I'd happily take this at, somewhere in the 8-9 to 1 range, and be perfectly happy if Wild About Deb is just, has just too much horse and just blows by him in the stretch and so forth. But this is a single pattern. I only have one pattern in the race, advanced form pattern. I've got a good value tech ratio. The horse will not look good to the public. Okay, it quit at 6 furlongs and now it's going 6.5, and therefore it's a quitter. It's got a lot of things the public shouldn't like, but it's got numbers enough to put it right on top. I'm not saying it's going to win, obviously. How do I know? I do know that it has the potential, again, 8 to 1, 9 to 1, and up, that I'd be happy to take a shot at this. This is a good pitch to hit. Sometimes you swing at a good pitch and you miss. More than possible. But I wanted to show you the contrast between the Bluegrass, which there really was nothing there. The Wood Memorial, well, maybe there's one price horse with some flaws. And this race, where this horse is on top, it's going to look not so great to the public. It's right on top of the line and may be a good potential. I would be very happy to take this with. I think Divine Interventio is a good shot to be in the exacta. It is not only the fulcrum in the race, it's the reversal winner. Long story, but those of you who have been following my work know that those are two things that, for some reason, those horses tend to get into the exacta. They tend to place. And so because I have flaws, Wild About Deb being on a layoff, Speightstown Time, having only run on the turf, having had a hard race last time, I have flaws on that. I'll be hooking up the 2 and the 4 and waiting for my price on the 2. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope what you take away from this is not, well, he didn't have any winners and he says he doesn't like anything. Apply the principles of value capping. Bet horses you like that the public shouldn't, preferably running against vulnerable favorites. Wait for your price and let the bet make you. Practice enough so you get a felt sense for this. Well, that's it for this value capping rant. I hope that this will be helpful for you. Regardless of what happens in these races, take away these lessons, apply them to your own handicapping. Apply the principles of finding good value bets. Thank you so much for all your comments, for your support and your encouragement. Those of you who are on the Wizards Forum and use the Blackmagic software, my thanks from the bottom of my heart for all the support that you give not only us, but you give each other. So, with that, good luck at the races on Saturday and always. And remember, wait for your prices. Let the bet make you. I'll see you soon.